Yeah, let's do it.
Those of you just joined us, welcome folks, welcome aboard Old Town Trotty Tours. People call me Sam the Spaniard, that's what people call me. I'll be your tour guide for this tour. Save the rules, folks, please keep it. And that's where Florida crackers got their name. Contrary to what one or more of you probably thought it meant. 150 realistic looking wax figures with real human hair, eyes and teeth, or medical prosthetics. This is stop number 4. They depict all sorts of historical characters, fictional tours. People call me Sam Spaniard. I'll be your tour guide for this tour. 600 private treasures and artifacts, plenty of interactive exhibits, including the Disney design, some experience of land. History fort in the U.S. continent, that is Augustine, authorized the construction of this current fort. She made sure this fort was built, not with wood, but this time, a natural material they discovered across the bay here. This natural material is called coquina, a mixture of sand, limestone, and seashell. It took 2 decades to build this fort using coquina, but once it was built, yep, these 2 buildings are on our right. Henry Flander built that for them. They gave him the piece of land that he wanted for his aunt, so which aunt? Yeah. It's right here in front of us to the right. That is the ancient City Baptist Church. Right there, you're looking at the oldest Baptist masonry building in the state of Florida. It has a bell tower, but it does not have a bell. Henry Flander told him not to put up a Marian church. Take a wild guess who built this church. Henry Flander. 1880s, the memory of his daughter Jenny, who died from giving childbirth. And like the sign here on our right says, you can go inside between them and its first Grand Hotel, the Ponce de Leon Hotel, named after the Spanish explorer who found Florida. Today it is a dining hall for college students. And those old stained glass windows that you saw there, they were put there by Lewis Comfort Symphony Company. Today, the Magnet Museum, the biggest museum in St. Augustine, where people can view the 1,000+ items that he, Mr. Leitner, collected from all around the world. Yep, here on our right, the green door. There they sell cold water bottles, sodas, and snacks for $1 each. Aside from the small prehistory museum, they provide affordable tours every half an hour. They show you almost the whole property, and they tell you about the families that live on the property throughout the centuries. Alright, number up. Here we go. Those of you just joined us, welcome aboard Old Town Trotty Tours. People call me Sam. The average man here was that short. He has my forefather, little people.
Yeah, and those walls are on an angle because anything revolves around the other the ocean would be falling higher than
I didn't want to block that way. Go ahead.
Let's go,
We're
guys.
gonna go inside.
You should ask some of those school kids.
No attackers ever made it through the outer defenses to reach this final crossfire. Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
just finished lunch at Burger Buckets. It was really good. 2 thumbs up.
Amazing.
Highly recommended if you're in St. Augustine.
What about the fries?
Fries were the best.
Were great.
Best ever.
Best meal so far this week.
So do you recommend it?
Highly.
Absolutely.
The village that befriended Pedro Menendez 453 years ago. They shoot up cannons and muskets every hour, have people dressed in period costume. They have a planetarium that will show you what the stars look like in the sky, how they lined up when Ponce de Leon went searching for the Fountain of Youth. This is stop number 23. If you're
There's cups down there. You're welcome. You should drink from the bottom if you'd like to. Oh, you're right.
Go. Will she live or will she die?
Now we're headed to see a historic firearms presentation.
At the waterfront.
For that is it has to stay flat on top of the crossbow, and it can't interfere with the clip. Most of the time these were only good for about 40 yards. Unlike a longbow, which has 28 inches to accelerate the arrow, this only has maybe about 8 inches. So it has to do it all at once very quickly. So what you do to aim it is just use the tip of the quarrel and pull the trigger. It took maybe a few hours to learn the basics of it. Then, of course, you had to practice.
Bunch of cell phone cameras out there. That's great. You guys especially, I suggest just put your finger on the little button. When the cannon goes off, you're going to flinch just enough to take the perfect shot. Guaranteed. Here we go, folks. Por España! Fuego!
Yeah.
And that's how they did it. Guys, that's one message. Thank you.
Invented in the mid-1400s in Europe. This is a copy of one the Spanish would have had in 1515. Now, the Spanish had 2 requirements for all the gunsmiths throughout Spain because they all made their guns a little bit differently. First one was that the stock had to be made out of one solid piece of hardwood with no cracks or knots in it. Then they wanted to make sure it was durable. This gun takes about 45 seconds to load and reload, so when you're in combat, after you shoot it, basically it's being used as a club until you can get that thing reloaded. Second thing was each gun comes with its own bullet mold. And I mean bullet, I'm talking about the lead ball here. They all had different calibers. They didn't have a set caliber. You had to make your own ammunition. You had to have a mold to go to your gun. This is a 62 caliber gun that would have came with a 60 caliber bullet mold. The reason why the ball was smaller is because the charcoal, that's one of the ingredients in gunpowder, leaves a fouling or a residue inside the barrel each time it's fired, making it smaller and smaller. The Spanish expected you to be able to shoot your gun 8 to 10 times before you had to clean it. They figure after 8 to 10 times the battle should be over. This caused the ball to kind of bounce down the barrel, making it horribly inaccurate. So they do volley shots. The guys would all line up shoulder to shoulder. They all shoot at the same time at the same target, not more than 80 yards away, hoping that one of the balls would hit whatever they're shooting at. Then the guys behind them would take over so you could start reloading. Here in 1565, when Pedro Menendez shows up, it's very jungle-like here. Didn't really have a lot of wide open areas to do volley shots. The Chamucans were here, you only had foot trails. So we believe they're using this more as an escapade or a shotgun, either shooting a shot, either from free-flowing or coming in little baggies. This is match cord. This is a natural fiber cord that's been soaked in a solution of water potassium nitrate, otherwise known as saltpeter. Once it dries and you light it, it burns very hot and very slow. This is what's required to shoot this gun. They also use this to fire the cannon. How this works, I'll show you before we load it. Take the match cord and place it into the serpentine. They call it a serpentine because it kind of looks like a snake. You have the pan that is welded to the side of the gun. There's a small hole that goes from the pan to the bottom of the barrel called a vent hole. You pour powder in the pan, pour powder down the barrel, and put wadding down the barrel. And when I'm ready to fire, making sure this is positioned correctly, I'll pull up on the trigger. It'll lower the match cord into the pan, igniting that powder, sending a flame through the vent hole, making the gun fire. So you got a lot going on here. If I could do all that without burning myself, it's going to be an added bonus. So I'll get started. Take my match cord, put my left hand as all my gunpowders to my right. Take out my priming flask, and I'll pour the fine grained gunpowder into the pan. Set the powder, close the pan cover. Now that's kind of like a safety on here. When I did that, there's some excess powder on top of the lid. I need to make sure I get rid of that because later on when the gun's loaded, if an ember were to fly off and hit that, it would shoot the gun off before I was ready. Move the gun to my left. Now, some guys have a charging flask, which is just another flask with a medium grain gunpowder in it. I don't have one of those. I have a powder bottle. I'm shooting about 90 grains of gunpowder. I pour that into the barrel. Now, if I was actually going to shoot a projectile, whether it be the single lead ball or the shot, I'd be placing that in there now, but that's dangerous, so we're going to skip that part. And we'll move on to the wadding. Anybody will recognize what I made that out of?
Spanish moss.
Spanish moss. That's what the English called it. The Spanish weren't very fond of that. They also weren't very fond of the French. The Spanish would say, if you look at the moss hanging down from the trees, it looks like the beard of an old man is too weak to fight. So they called it French beard. The Chinookan Indians, they called it what they thought it was. Tree hair. I'm going to place it into the barrel. Take out my ramrod. Pack that down nice and tight. Just compresses the powder, holds everything in there. Without it, it wouldn't shoot properly, and if I tilted my gun over and had a bullet in there, it would actually just roll out on the ground. That'd be embarrassing, right? So now the gun is loaded. So I take my match cord, as I showed you earlier, place it into the, what was this called?
Serpentine.
That's correct, a serpentine, because it looks like a...
Snake.
Just
Sorry.
testing you. Just
I know,
testing you.
I'm sorry, I was talking during class.
All right. I am ready to go. I'm going to go through a series of commands. My last command will be fuego. I will then fire the gun. It will sound like a gunshot. Okay? Here we go. Prima mecha. Papalen. Apunten. Fuego. Thank you.
As you can see from the ocean behind me, we are back at our condo. We had a great day at St. Augustine. We rode a trolley around town. We explored an old fort. We drank from, or I at least drank from the Fountain of Youth. I misspoke earlier. I said it's Florida's oldest city. Apparently it's the nation's oldest city, so that's cool. But we had a good time. Thanks for watching.
And remember, if you like this video, please subscribe and comment below, and we'll see you on the next adventure.